Now, that decision by the federal government to defer action on the new minimum wage for further consultations is not going down well with the leadership of labor unions in the country. The head of public relations of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Benson Opar, says the action creates room for injurious speculations. The union leaders have now convened an emergency meeting over the cabinet's decision. A public affairs analyst, Nelson Ekujumi, joins me on the news to discuss further. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. Now, what are your thoughts on the response of the NLC that the failure of the Federal Executive Council to consider the memo by the tripartite committee on the new national minimum wage will, in quote, create room for injurious speculations?
Well, I don't think the position of the NLC and maybe the TUC is correct in that regard, because we are all aware that the tripartite committee has made its recommendations, and those recommendations have to be tabled before the Federal Executive Council, who will now submit a bill in that regards to the National Assembly. So the Labour trying to prejudge what will happen, I don't think it is right. I don't think it is appropriate. I want to join other well-meaning Nigerians to appeal to them to let us be patient and put the interest of the country at heart, because whatever any speculations that comes out, once they don't buy into it, once they make a position known on it that, look, this is what the tripartite committee agreed on, and the outcome of the tripartite committee recommendations is out there in the public domain. So what speculations are we talking about again?
Now, don't you think that this discussion on the new national minimum wage has dragged longer than it should?
No, absolutely not. This is something that concerns the average Nigerian worker, whether you are in the public service or in the private sector. So long as you are an employee under the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that law affects you and your employer. The irony of the whole discussion about the national minimum wage is that even Labour itself and some sections of the media have made it look as though it's a debate or it's a discussion between the federal government and the Nigerian Labour Congress, forgetting that the national minimum wage affects both those in the public sector, that is at the federal government level, workers who are working for the federal government agencies, departments, and ministries, workers in the state government department, agencies, and ministries, workers in the local government department, as well as in the local government, and those in the organized private sector. So we must get that very clear. It's not that the federal government will buy fiat. If not, there would have been no need for a tripartite committee. But we have a committee that included even the organized labor. So the discussion, I don't think it is too much to talk. It is better to judge than to war. So if we are discussing and the Federal Executive Council under the leadership of Mr. President has deemed it fit, then let us even have wider consultation. Because as we speak, we all know that even whatever the tripartite committee arrived at as its own recommendations, the states are grumbling. Even the organized private sector are grumbling. So I think what Mr. President is doing is a right step in the right direction to bring everybody on board. That what are the fears? How do we ensure that when we make this law, it becomes implementable? It will not become another law that will be, implemented more in breaches than in compliance. So I think discussion on it is not taking too long, because it's something that affects even national security is at stake here. And if you know what it means, you know that is a serious business, and it calls for consultations with Nigeria, because it's not about the life of one man, but the life of over 220 million Nigerians, as well as those who have come from outside our shores to come and do business with us.
Well, we'll keep tracking developments from these further consultations on the new national minimum wage. Public affairs analyst Nelson Ekujumi, thank you for lending your thoughts.